Good afternoon, and welcome to the Accessible Educational Materials session, and we're going to be talking about access for all. I'm Leanne Bremer. I'm the coordinator at the State Department of Education, Office of Federal Programs and Support, Special Education Services, and I coordinate the areas of speech language impaired, assistive technology, AIM, OT, and PT. I am very thankful today to have two presenters who are going to show you some amazing things today. Our first presenter that I'd like to introduce is Anna Mae Fout, and May is our new accessible educational materials specialist for the state. And she's working out of our Office of Federal Programs, and you will be seeing her around the state doing statewide trainings and other trainings for counties and meeting with special ed directors, and we are just very excited to have her. Our next presenter is Amy Smith, and Amy is the Summers County Technical Innovation Program Specialist. And she's also the parent of a child with dyslexia. And Amy, we will see Amy's daughter in just a little bit, but Amy has done some presentations with me several times around the state, and we're very thankful to have her with us as well. There is a link to the resources posted in the chat box. We have the PowerPoints and some other documents in a folder for you, so feel free to access those at any time. Today, we're hoping that we'll leave you with an understanding of the requirement for the provision of AIM, that you'll understand the West Virginia AIM Technical Assistance Plan, and become aware of digital resources that are available for iOS, PC, and Chromebooks, and that you'll also become aware of the West Virginia Technical Assistance Center for Accessibility and Transitions in Romney. During this presentation, we're going to try to answer some questions, and one of the questions is, what is AIM and UDL? I'm very thankful to see some SLPs, speech language pathologists, on this session today, because we are going to be talking about AIM as well as we work with language and literacy and work with those students who have dyslexia. So I hope you find some of this information interesting and helpful. We're going to answer who provides support for AIM. And I just told you, I think that's going to mostly be May. And then what resources are available for AIM? How do I request assistance? And are there laws that require AIM? These are the topics we'll be discussing today. And hopefully by the end, you will have seen a demonstration of some valuable digital resources, and you'll also have some great information that you can take back with you to either your classroom, your therapy room, or wherever you help to support students. Accessible educational materials are print and technology-based educational materials. When it first started, they were mostly just print, but now we have technology-based materials as well, including printed and electronic textbooks and related core materials that are designed or enhanced in a way that make them usable across the widest range of learner variability, regardless of the format. Why do we talk about accessible educational technologies? Accessible versions of educational materials may mean the difference for some students between learning barriers and learning opportunities. The use of accessible digital materials and technologies strengthens opportunities for all learners to experience independence, participation, and progress. And you know, that independence piece is what we always want to see for students with disabilities, and the participation piece. And we definitely want to see progress. But the nice thing of it is, a lot of these materials, almost all of them, can be used with all students and can help support them even if they don't have a print disability. Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, is providing options for all learners. The concept of accessibility is foundational to UDL, and accessibility is represented in every layer of the UDL guidelines because it helps promote engagement, representation, action, and expression. And almost all, like I said, almost all of the digital resources you're going to be hearing about today, you can use with all students. And I honestly use some of them myself because they're very handy. AIM is required by law Providing AIM is just not the right thing to do. It's the law. Um, IDEA in 2004 said that the states adopt the National Instructional Materials Accessibility Standards for the purpose of providing instructional materials to blind persons or other persons with print disabilities in a timely manner after the publication. And there have been some amendments to this statement since then. The Chaffee Amendment was one of those amendments that took place, and it ensures that blind individuals and others with physical impairments have access to standard print works. The Marrakesh Treaty Implementation Act of 2018 led to some important changes in the verbiage of the law. An eligible person who's is considered a person regardless of any other disability who is blind or who has a visual impairment or perceptual or reading disability that can't be improved to give a visual function substantially equivalent to that of a person with no such impairment. So it's not just those people who have a visual acuity impairment or a perception impairment, but a reading disability. And that's very important to remember, because those students that we have who receive services as specific learning disabled students who have a print disability are eligible for AIM in any services and supports that provides. So when we compare the number of students who get read aloud accommodations on the online IEP accommodations list and the number of students who have BookShare accounts or who we know receive AIM, there's a huge discrepancy. So that's one of the reasons for doing this session. We want to make sure that everybody understands that those students who have any type of print disability have access to AIM. And honestly, speech language pathologists are one of the people who can say, yes, they do have a print disability. And you can also receive it if you have a physical disability that doesn't allow you to hold a book or turn the pages and that kind of thing. So all those three things were identified as an eligible person. It used to be that in order to get BookShare or any of those types of things, you had to have a medical doctor recommend it. That isn't the case anymore. Just remember that too. A lot of times when people think of AIM, they think of only BookShare, and you're going to see it's way more than that. The most recent changes to the Chaffee Amendment are listed there, and so is a hyperlink to the full text of it. With the consideration that the online IEP, unfortunately, I think the same thing happens for AIM that happens for assistive technology. On that consideration page, when you get to it for students, it does not, if people don't understand what it is, they just check no, that they don't need it. So if you read it carefully, and I would encourage you to do that for every student, you can really determine whether or not they need this support. If the student understands instructional content at grade level, but is unable to read with sufficient accuracy and fluency to support comprehension at the same rate as his or her peers, or if they can't physically manipulate the print medium or due to blind low vision can't see standard print materials, then click the links to learn more about AIM, Accessible Educational Materials. And there's a hyperlink to the guidance document and a quick guide about AIM. We are working now on updating this guidance document. May and I are working on it, and we're going to have some shareholders approve it, hopefully soon, because this is an older version. But just remember that this is available to any student who has any type of print disability. When I mentioned that Amy is a parent of a student with dyslexia, her daughter Emily is a high school student in Summers County, and I got to see Emily present to the Summers County Board of Education one night. She also tutors other students and does demonstrations for students on the use of AIM, and she is just a great spokesperson for the impact that AIM has had on her life. And Amy and Emily consented to let us make a video, so I'd like to share that with you right now.
Hello, my name is Emily Smith. I am a student at Summers County High School. I'm a sophomore, and I'm dyslexic. So I'm here to talk to you about how I use my technology. I have I found out I was dyslexic in 2nd grade. We figured out that something had to change because I couldn't read like the rest of the kids. So that summer, my mom found this program called Barton Reading Program. It taught me how to read. So then we found BookShare, which is where I put textbooks on there and it'd read it to me, and books just for a hobby, and just regular books that it'd read to me. And it did a pretty good job. There was a robot voice, which I didn't really like at all. So we found something else called Learning LI, and it's really good too. It's, in my perspective, it's better. I do the same things: textbook, pleasure read, and regular books that I have for book reports and things like that. But the thing is with it is when you have short stories or something like that, it highlights the words and you can follow along easily like that. And it doesn't have a robot voice, which I really like because I think I can pay attention better without a robot voice. And I like it a whole lot better. And then I use this website. It's called Speech Notes. And I use it for like all my book reports, essays, anything that I really need to write. I use it. You just type that in your Google search bar and it comes up. There is a little microphone that you push that microphone right there, and then you just talk. And the thing is with it is that you say, my dog is black, comma, and fun, period. You have to say the comma and period. It was a little tricky when I first got onto it because I had this big long sentence that was about as big as a paragraph. So it took me a little while to get used to saying comma and period where it's needed, but it was really good to me. And then there was also this thing in read, write, which is a purple puzzle piece, and it's called Speaks to Text. I don't really like it as much, but the good thing about it is that you use it the same way. But the good thing about it compared to the other one is it puts it right in the Word document for you. The other one you have to copy and paste into your Word document. I still like to use Speech Notes more because it's faster. It's faster, and I like that about it. And then you have another thing in the purple puzzle piece that is read to text, I think might be what it's called. Text to speech, I think. And that is where you see our things in school. My teacher this year, we had a lot of short stories that we had to read, and they were PDFs. So she'd post it in a Google Classroom, and we'd have a PDF to read. And I didn't like that. So I use this purple puzzle piece, and I use text to speech like that. All you have to do is you highlight whatever you want, click, and then it reads it to you, all of it. So, and that's really nice about that. And that's about all I got right there. But I have made straight A's from 3rd grade all the way up to my sophomore year now, and I have succeeded in so many ways, and these are the things that help me get how far I've went in all my success. That's it.
So you can see Emily is a great proponent for AIM, and we are always appreciative of hearing her speak about it. I think we're going to go to May next, and May is going to be sharing her screen, and when she does hers, she's going to be doing it using just not doing presentation mode, because there are hyperlinks and those kinds of things that Amy and May are going to be using. So anyway, take it away, May.
All right. So, okay, I'm gonna pull this up here. All right, so as you can see, AEM, Accessible Educational Materials, is so much more than just BookShare. We have the purple puzzle piece, which is the Read Write app. There's a Claro scan pen, PowerPoint, Word, speech notes, and the list goes on and on. I'm going to talk to you today about BookShare. The people that can access it are those that are blind, have low vision, perceptual reading disability, physical disability, limits them accessing to text. And what it provides is that you can download a book that will give you all access, so you can read it aloud. You can also download it as a Word document. You can download it as an MP3. There are so many options for you, and then you can also choose the different font, shape, size, color, background, highlighted word, read alouds. You can also download it in Braille format as well. You can access this on your smartphones, on your tablets, different computers, Chromebooks, and all, mostly all technology, assistive technology devices. It is free for students and schools when you meet the qualification, and it's $1 a week for adults. To get started with BookShare, you go to bookshare.org and select Get Started. When you do that, it takes you to this web page here, and you can get started here. You sign up with your school, then you click organization. So you want to sign up as an organization. You need to sign up as a primary contact, and this is for your teacher, the visually impaired, or your special ed teacher. You can, under this account, the primary contact, you can also have sponsors and members. So when you do that, back to my page here. Okay, so when you do that, you also, excuse me, I skipped a step there. You need to download and complete the organizational agreement as well. Once you've done that and it says complete here, you will be able to access all of that's in BookShare. When you have the startup guide, there are all types of video tutorials on how to do everything that you need to do within BookShare. So the first one is members, and these are your students that have a qualifying print disability. And you can add them, I believe there's a way that you can add them via an Excel spreadsheet if you need to, or you can add them individually. You can give them access to it. So if they have an app, they can sign in with their app. You can assign them books, and they can also choose their own books as well. Or you can not give them that ability to do so based on what you need for your students. Sponsors are extra staff that may need access. Say your general educator in an ELA class needs access for that student to add a textbook or a reading assignment. You can do that as well. You can assign books. You can create different reading lists. You can choose how your students access different assigned books, and you can also read books with the BookShare web reader. And all of these video tutorials are wonderful at showing you how to do those types and assign and do all of those things. With the BookShare Reading Wizard tool, you go to this link, and then you can choose whether you're reading it on a computer or laptop, a tablet or a smartphone, or an assistive technology device, and it will walk you through the steps on how to do that. There are different ways of doing it. There's a PDF. So there's a student's how-to guide, and then there's also a how-to guide for your BookShare web reader. And you also have some different videos here based on which device you are reading it on. There's also a cheat sheet here that comes along with the how to do it on a Dolphin Easy Reader as well. At this point, I'm going to pass the torch, if you will, to Miss Amy Smith, and she's going to take over with Learning Ally.
Okay, I hope that everybody can see my screen and hear my voice. This is Learning Allies is kind of a similar thing to BookShare, but you have to pay for our Learning Ally. When you heard Emily speak about it, it was kind of in the in-between part that you might have missed, but she talked about the robot voice in BookShare. And BookShare is, an automatic reader, and it does a fine job. And when we were using it, robot voice was not very good. She was in 2nd grade, so I mean, we're talking about 8 years ago. And now, so we were looking for something that was a little bit better than the robot voice. And I got hooked up with Learning Ally. And like I said, Learning Ally is a paid for program. But Emily spoke to our Board of Education last spring, and they asked her, what do you think would be the best thing that you use that would help other students? And this is what she said. She said, it was Learning Ally. So this year, for the first time, our county has purchased Learning Ally, and we'll be able to use it with our students. But Learning Ally is a fantastic thing, and the big thing that is so different about it is that it's read by a human voice. And so there's inflection. She says she understands it a lot better, and that's the big thing. It's because of the inflection in the voice. And also in a textbook, when you use it with a textbook, there's when there's a picture or something in the book, like a map, maybe in a social studies book, the human reader will explain what's going on in that chart or graph or whatever the graphic is. And that's also, really helpful. The eligibility for Learning Ally is the same as it is for BookShare. Learning Ally, their rule is that if they're not reading on the grade level that they should be with their peers, then they are eligible for Learning Ally. And so there's no IEP or 504 that's required. If a teacher decides that the student is not reading on grade level, then they're eligible to use Learning Ally. There are, like I said, the big difference is that it's read by a human voice, and with that human voice, Emily said that she got very distracted sometimes with the robot voice, because that's another trouble of dyslexic kids. Sometimes they're a little ADHD, but the inflection in the voice helps with understanding, and it helps keep her on track. Also, with Learning Ally, you have tools that are teacher tools, and there's some reporting that comes along with it that our county is very excited to be using this year. And so we're really excited about it. But you can see the progress, real-time reading, how many pages they've read, what types of books they're reading, and things like that. And like I said, BookShare does many of these things. The big difference, though, is that BookShare is an automated voice, and this is not. All right, something else that we're going to move on to is Clusive. Clusive is a free, adaptive, and customizable digital learning environment. Clusive is new. Oh, I did want to show you. I'm going to back up here and show you the difference in the sound. This is her bookshelf here that has come up here, and you just click on what you want to read, and then it will read it. I missed it over there. There it is. Start reading. And what's great about this is that it works right in the browser, and so there's no extra stuff to be done with it. But also, you can download it. See, I don't have it downloaded onto this machine, but you can download it onto your iPad, iPhone, whatever, and then you don't have to be online to do it. So you'll be able to do it, if you're in the car, or, a lot of athletes have stuff like that they use, and it's what we use at home. Okay. Clusive is something that has been used by CAST is the one that's come up with it. It's not the right. There's the dashboard is what I want. that tells you a little bit about Clusive. But Clusive is something that also gives you a lot of ability for it to be read to you. There's a library. Most of the things are articles. If they're not articles, then they're public domain books that, you know, there's no copyright issues or anything with. Before you begin reading, it asks you 3 questions that kind of starts to whether you know it, you kind of know it, you can use it type of things with words that are in the document. And it starts to build up a word bank for you for words that maybe you weren't very familiar with. The issue that I've run into thus far, like I said, brand new, and they're working on it, I can see that there's been changes already, is that this right here tells you how many words and pictures there are, but it doesn't really tell you what level the book is. So if you've not read it ahead of time, you might have to search through a lot of things to find something that was appropriate for your student. There's no Lexile levels or anything like that that would help to guide you in the right direction. However, there are some really cool things in there. It is a free tool, and I wouldn't discount Clusive yet, because I would check back on it every month or so, because what you're going to find, I believe, is that it will grow quickly. All right. Now, I've always liked to read this statement. Technology empowers people to achieve more, strengthens their educational opportunities, and makes the workplace more inviting and inclusive. More than 1 billion people in the world live with disabilities. That's why we believe accessibility is essential to our industry and the progress of all people. And I absolutely 100% agree with that statement. And Microsoft has some really great things. That's what our county is a Chromebook county, and so I work more with Chrome stuff, but Microsoft has some great stuff too. And we use Microsoft stuff. It's just in the online version. So when I'm going to talk about these tools, I'm just really quickly going to. These things like the vision tools, I want to show you. I'm going to demonstrate just on this slide right here. But the vision tools, I'm on Microsoft Online. You know, I'm not on the heavy duty downloaded thing. And so on our Chromebooks, we can use this. So even if you're not on something that has the hard download onto it, there's still a lot of assistive technology that is available to you. So here is one of the things, which is the Immersive Reader. So I'm going to click right there on it, and it's got what is on the screen. There's some things I don't like about it. One is it takes it out of its original format to put it into the Immersive Reader, but there's a lot of cool things that are in there for it. Let me pitch that down. It'll read for you.
Narrator, magnifier, color filter.
Okay, you can change font and text preferences. You can change the theme of things. You can change, what it looks like. There's some really cool, this is my favorite thing about the Immersive Reader, are these tools right here in this grammar place. I think this would be an awesome thing to use if you had younger students that, you might have, turn on all the nouns, and then you can see which words are nouns, and then you can see which ones are verbs and adjectives and adverbs, and then you can even show the labels of what they are while they're on there. And I think that it would be a really cool thing to have, if you had a piece of, I don't know, a small paragraph on a slide in PowerPoint, and then you had a kid maybe come up on your whiteboard and circle all the nouns, and then you could turn it on and show where they were. I just think that would be a cool thing. Another thing that is nice is syllables. Some students, dyslexic students especially, have issues with seeing. I know it sounds strange, but seeing the whole word. Emily always tells me I can always see the first 2 letters and I can always see the last 2 letters, and then the other ones kind of mix up, which is the reason that she spells horribly. But these things are, when she took Spanish, which was a nightmare, this is what we did. We syllabalized things so she could see all the letters, because she could do things in English with difficulty, but Spanish was a whole different ballgame. You've also got reading preferences, which is nice because it gives you, it'll put things closer together. It'll spread out the words. It's got a lot of great tools, but like I said, you go through this and that's all well and fine, but then to get back to where you were, you have to go back here. And notice that it only worked with that first little line right there. So a great tool, fantastic if you don't have anything better to use. and it works better also when you're not on the online version. But there's great things with the accessibility guides that'll show you all the things that you can do when you have the downloaded version. There's some of these things will work, but the one that I really want to focus on that works well is the dictation. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to get right into the slide, and then if you go to the home up at the top, you've got a microphone and you can dictate. And so, hello, my name is Amy Smith, period. And did a really good job. Didn't capitalize the first letter. Some things will do that when you begin something. Of course, it might have read that ahead of time and decided that it was a part of the sentence. But it does a really nice job. It's really easy to use. It's always right there. It's on the online version. So if you're using it on a Chromebook or something else that you don't, or your phone, anything like that, the dictation works really well. And then there's also more learning tools that each one of those guides that are hyperlinked in there tell you exactly how to use them. Okay, the next thing is for iOS. This is for your iPads or iPhones, and it's a paid-for app. I'm not usually, I don't work with a lot of paid-for stuff, but I'll have to tell you that this was what saved Emily in elementary school, because in elementary school, things weren't as electronic as they are now, and she had a lot of worksheets. And my goal was always to make Emily independent and to be able to advocate for herself. And we've been very successful in both of those things. But she wasn't able to read the worksheets. And so this was a fantastic fix for that, because we had purchased, as a family, purchased her an iPad mini. And so we put Claro on there, and it was really simple to use because she was only like in 3rd and 4th grade and not too great with technology, still not too great with technology. And we would take a picture, she could take a picture of her worksheet, and then she can read some things, just some things she gets a little confused on. And so it allowed her to just select words, and it would use optical character recognition, and she could just select words and it would read them right to her, and she'd have her little earbuds in, and it worked like magic. And there's a demo video there, but I'm a major advocate for that particular app because it makes things so simple and really gains. Now, could she have gone and asked her teacher that? Yes. Would she have? Sometimes. But this made her independent, and that was something that I was really excited about. So I always plug that. This is something that comes built in on your iPhone and your iPad, and it's just your voice memos. And it's great for recording things. It does a really good job at picking up just about anything. And what's really awesome about it is that you can send it to your OneDrive if you're a Microsoft user, or your Google Drive if you're a Chrome user, or to your MacBook for iOS, and you can trim it up, and you can take out extraneous noise, you can insert and replace things. It's a really handy app that helps students who can't remember what's going on in the lecture, if you have a teacher that lectures, and so that they can go back and revisit things, and it doesn't take up much room. And so it's not like it's a video that's taking up a lot of room on your device. It doesn't. This is a new thing that I really like it. It's Morphic. It doesn't work on anything but PCs, Mac OS, or Windows tablets, but I have it on this because I'm on Emily's Windows device, and you just click that cute little fella, and you can do all kinds of things. You can increase text size. See, we can decrease text size. Oh, now we're hiding stuff. You can run your magnifying lens, your mouse over stuff, and it'll make things bigger. This snip allows you to copy and paste things. You can click on things and select it, and it'll read it to you. You can use contrast, color, dark. You can flip the contrast on things. Really some cool things, and it's 100% free. And they even have a free enterprise. So if your county is using PCs, your IT person could push it out to all of your machines at one time. They have an enterprise version, which is really pretty cool. And I think he's just cute as a button. And so I like him a lot. And I put it on my mom's computer because she has trouble sometimes, or she's just can't see as well as she used to, and she loves that magnifier, that when the words are little, she can run that thing over it, and it's fantastic. All right, let's see. This is the purple puzzle piece. This is Read and Write for Google. They have it for iOS, they have it for PC, they have it for everything. But I love this because it puts all the tools that most kids are going to use into one place. So like I said, we're a Google user, and so I'm going to open up just a blank document, and here's where I'm going to suck it up. See, and that's sometimes the kids will say, where's my toolbar? And I'll say, just push the purple puzzle piece and it comes right back. But it does so much. This first icon is a check it. And if you're working in a Google Doc only, not if you're working in a Word document, but if you're working in a Google document, it'll check for grammar. It does a pretty good job. I tell kids, do not do it until you've written a good bit of stuff, because it's just a whole lot of stuff gets, they want to use all the tools, and then it ends up taking longer than it should, when the whole point of using the tool was to speed up their process. There's a word prediction. There's a dictionary. I'm going to go ahead and put some words on here. This is the talk and type that she was talking about. Hello, my name is Amy Smith, period. Okay, and see, it capitalized everything, but it's got these little underlines under it, and that's what check it is doing, because check it says, ooh, I don't know about that. Maybe you should have a comma there. Maybe you should have something else there. So let's double click on hello, and I'm going to look it up in the dictionary, and it says what it is. One great thing about using an assistive technology tool is that everything always reads to you.
Interjection. A greeting that you can use when you...
Okay, and it's gotten better about highlighting each word. I'm always a fan of that. I think the more times their eyes can connect what a word is, the better their reading can become. It is with Emily anyway. Then you've got a picture dictionary. Now, not all words, of course, are in the picture dictionary, but it does help some kids to connect what this is and what that is. Okay, then you've got a play.
Hello, my name is Amy.
Pause, stop, takes it all away. And then all of this works in documents, but what's even better is that it works on websites. And here it's not there, so I'm going to click it. It's going to come right up, and look at all the tools I have to work on a website. I can highlight things. Emily said you just highlight it and it just talks to you, but you got to push play first.
What you'll learn. Snapshot. What?
Okay. Now, these things right here, unless you let it roll all the way through, it's embedded text, and so you click that and it's going to take you to the snapshot. But here we have a screenshot reader that will take it, and you just underline whatever is inaccessible. Give it a second to OCR.
Snapshot. What dyslexia is.
And it'll read anything there. So I tell them with this toolbar, you can read anything on your computer, no matter what it is. Here is a really cool, let me get my mouse back. This is a cool thing. It's an audio maker. We've used this when Emily's had like an article to read in the car, and we don't have, she couldn't hotspot her phone from where we were at. So this will make it an MP3. You just select the text that you want and click it, and it takes it and OCRs it. And then you see how it came down here? It's an MP3. So now I can take it, and she can take it and put it on her phone, and then she can listen to her article in the car with no service of internet, because it's just a document, or it's just an MP3. And it's robot voice, but sometimes you got to take the robot voice, and she's learned that over the years. This brings up a web search, which just gives you a Google, a place to search in Google. Here is a screen mask. And there's a lot of different things that you can change in the screen mask, but it helps some kids to stay on task. And then I really want to show you this. Let's see. Okay, you can highlight things, and which is nice, but this is what's awesome. This collects up highlights, and so whatever colors you want it to pick up, it will. And what it does is it makes you a new document, and it puts everything that you put in it, and it gives you a link to where it came from. Then of course that's my user account. So if you were doing research and trying to gather sources, a really great thing to do would be to just go through and highlight what you wanted. It would all come up on your document, and you'd be able to use it, you know, at a later time. And that's fantastic for kids that are doing research. Also, I'm going to sweep away my highlights for this, and I'm going to highlight just a couple of words. And you could have kids read through an article and pick out the words that they weren't really sure of. And if you click this, it will create you a vocabulary list of the words that you chose, and it will put them on a new document for you. And it puts the meaning, and it puts the picture, and it gives you a place to make notes where you can make any kind of notes you want. And it's all, you know, it's just a word. It's in this case a doc table, and so you can add to it, take away from it. But it's a really cool feature, I think, that is in the purple puzzle piece. And then you can take this and simplify a web page. What it's going to do is it's going to take away pictures and clickable things and things that might make distract a student when they're working. Then you've got also this little thing, which I didn't mean for it to go yet. I didn't have anything highlighted. If you highlight something on a document, I think this would be great for elementary school teachers, that they use something like this and have, you know, have the kids send it out in their Google Classroom or whatever your LMS is, and use the purple puzzle piece for them to read, you know, their decodable books. Gosh, I hate decodable books, but I know that they're a part of what is taught. You can do this. They can record, and you can see it shows you right up above it what is dyslexia. That's what I had highlighted. So I'm going to start the recording, and then I stop the recording. Hello, hello, hello. And then I can listen to it, which is really great. So a kid could read their decodable, listen to how they sounded, and then they can send it to their teacher. And so then the teacher would have the opportunity to maybe listen to everybody read on a day, instead of having to take, you know, have stations where they only could listen to 2 at a time. You can also leave voice feedback to the students on that would come back to them, and just some really awesome things. We have the purple puzzle piece for every student in our county, not just students with disabilities, because I can tell you right now that as I walk through the classrooms, I see my son is a very high achiever. So is my daughter, but it comes easier for him. He's not dyslexic. But I can tell you that when he has to read something, he listens to it all the time because he just prefers it. So you're not just you're not labeling your SLP or your SLD students or your special ed students or whoever it is that's using it. It gives all kids the opportunity to use it, and then, you know, use what is, you know, suits their learning style the best. And so I love the purple puzzle piece, and I'm very thankful that our county purchased it for all students, because it was a big help last year during the COVID time. Really quickly, I've got Equatio here, which is a math thing, and it works awesome. You can write your math in, like if you had a touch screen, and you can write it. It doesn't calculate math or anything else, but you can write stuff. It comes up in over here. Then you can insert the math anywhere. You can speak your math. If you weren't sure of how to write something out, you could speak it in, and it'll come right over there into the math, and then you just insert it in. Another fantastic thing about it is that it works with Desmos. There's an equation editor, a lot of things, but it works with Desmos, which is something that high school students and middle school teachers alike use a lot of. And so Desmos, and you can throw your graphs and everything right in there. I can pull it up here. And this is actually, see, it's powered by Desmos. And so you can put in your stuff and graph your things, and then you can insert your graph, and it comes right back into your worksheet if you're turning it in for your teacher, an assignment of some sort. So I like Equatio too. Both Read and Write for Google and Equatio, the full versions are free for teachers. And I put a link on there for you to be able to see this. Last thing that I have is speech notes. And speech notes is what Emily talked about. She liked it better. You dictate in, "Hello, I'm using speech notes today!" exclamation point. And and right there on the same place, you can listen to it.
"Hello, I'm using speech next today." And
okay, and you can go and you can fix things, and then you just, here's the copy, and then you can paste it on anything. It's a very English speaking person that's on there, and she thinks it's pretty cool. And when she can listen to her work like this, it helps her. She usually writes everything and doesn't put any commas in it. She just puts periods. Then she goes back and listens to it, and anywhere she thinks that there should be a pause, she puts a comma. And is she always right? Not always, but it definitely is something that helps her, and helps her to know that exactly what she's doing, what she's spoken, is what she wanted to say. So I'm going to give it back. Oh, I'm going to give it back to May.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Microsoft Word and PowerPoint for just a moment. This is built into iOS and Android phones, tablets, and computers, and you can copy and paste text, edit text as you normally would as well. Again, this is all built in. I have a screenshot here of a cell phone on Word and an iPad on Word. So instead of using your speech button down here, which also works as well, if you touch the blue speech speaker microphone button, it will enter the text in as well, and it's pretty intuitive. So the more you use it, the more it's going to adapt to your speech and understand your words better than others. And again, it's in this toolbar under the Home button, and it's right here under Dictate. This is available in Microsoft Word and PowerPoint. Okay, so all of these resources that we have presented on today and many more are available at our new West Virginia Technical Assistance Center for Accessibility and Transitions. Our acronym is there as well. We are located in beautiful Romney, West Virginia, on the campus for the West Virginia Schools for the Deaf and Blind. We have different offices here as well. We, the Department of Ed, when they come up, they use our facilities. We also have our training and evaluation lab that I am currently sitting in right now. And this is where you can either come, or I work out of, and I can come visit you and Leanne and anyone in our center really can come and visit you, bring different trainings to you, personalized trainings. We also have our outreach department here. We have the Instructional Resource Center. We also have the different educational resources and storage warehouse and lending library here. Division of Rehabilitation Services for our kiddos that are 14 and above that are going to be transitioning out of high school and into either the workforce or higher education. We also have our Adult Basic Education Program and spokes here as well. And we also have West Virginia Birth to 3. Here at the center, we really do go from birth all the way up through adulthood. And that is what we're looking to encourage, is that here at the center, we have everything that you need from birth to adulthood. So different trainings and services that we will provide. Our website is currently in its building process stage. And so when that's up and running, we will have an online menu of available trainings and different resources. There will be different webinars available that you can watch anytime you need them to share them with different educators. we will have those as well. We also have different assistive technology. We will have resources and equipment to be able to check out to different counties. There's also going to be a help desk for any assistive technology, accessible educational materials, and BookShare needs that you may have. We will also offer short courses, have some different family engagement and training opportunities. Again, that transition piece, so pre-service teaching and related service providers, practicum and field-based experiences here, collaborative statewide trainings, and supporting different advisory committees, and some expansion services available, and the use of accessible materials and assistive technology. And again, this is support for transition at all ages and grade levels from birth all the way up through adulthood. And that concludes, for the most part, our presentation today. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to unmute their mic and ask? We have a few moments.
Don't think they have the ability to unmute, but they can put it in the
Oh,
chat box.
there we go.
While they're doing that, I'd like to go ahead and share how we're going to provide the AIM assistance, if that's okay. So if you could stop sharing, then I will
Oh, sure.
show the form you created. We're going to offer services for AIM using the MTSS model. So we tried to figure out some good things to do to help support you guys. We are so excited because West Virginia is part of the national AIM state cohort, and as being a part of that, then we are learning all different kinds of things and receiving intensive and targeted technical support from the National AIM Center. And excuse me, that one of the reasons we're so excited about that is because now we have May, who can help us as we learn new things. She can be going out and training on them. We're going to be offering services universal, with just some statewide trainings and that kind of thing, email blasts, and a hands-on conference in the spring. We had planned on having one in the fall, but as you guys know, COVID just keeps kind of getting in our way. So because of that, we've tried to move everything to the spring, but at any time, you're welcome to go up to the center and go look at the equipment and do some hands-on there. As far as targeted support, May talked about this a little bit, but we will have a help desk with hours where you can just call and get some help. But you can also, like special education directors or principals can request training, specific topics and that kind of thing. With all the equipment that we have, we're going to have computers and iPads and all those things, Chromebooks that have the purple puzzle piece and all the things we've talked about today on them. So we can not only demonstrate them, but if May's going out helping with trying to figure out something for a student, she can take them and actually leave them for the student to have a trial period with. And then we'll be doing some intensive services where you work with teachers or a team regarding an individual student. Sometimes it takes, just looking at that student individually instead of doing just some overall accessible educational material trials with them. And May will be offering coaching and mentoring too. So just want to let you know that now you're going to have tons of support and ways to learn more things about the digital resources. I'll tell you that purple puzzle piece with the highlighted section where you can create a document of all the things that you've highlighted. When Amy was saying you could do it for research, I use it for research too because it's so handy. It even tells you where it came from. So that is something I use too. So you guys might just want to check some of these things out and see what you think about them. I do see a question that says, is there any type of training for teachers to help work with students who have dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia? Right now, we're kind of in a state of transition with special ed coordinators, and so I'm sure that we'll be having some of those things in the future as we try to provide support statewide. Right now, I don't know of any plans, but I'm sure they'll be coming up. And we're going to be doing some training for SLPs as far as dyslexia and literacy is concerned. So I don't see any other questions. Thank you guys so much for being with us this afternoon. May and Amy, thank you so much. I think it always helps to see things demonstrated and have someone who knows what they're talking about, talk about them and show them. So thank you so much for being a part of this, and we appreciate you guys taking the time, and we will hopefully see you soon. I'm going to stop the recording now.